The stairs. I'm standing at the top of the same marble staircase where I died. My hands are trembling as I grip the railing, staring down at the gleaming floor 20 feet below. In my previous life, or future life? God, this is confusing. Victoria Sterling pushed me down these exact steps. I remember the sensation of falling, the crack of my skull against marble, the cold spreading through my body as I watched her stand above me, not calling for help, just watching. But that was 5 years from now. Or was 5 years from now. Because somehow, impossibly, I woke up this morning in my old apartment 5 years in the past, the morning after the worst night of my life. The morning after Marcus Sterling rejected me. Damien? You okay, man? James's voice pulls me back to the present. My best friend is watching me with concern, coffee cup halfway to his lips. We're at the Moonstone Cafe, our usual spot, and I've been staring at nothing for the past 5 minutes. Yeah, I lie, forcing myself to look away from the window where I'd been seeing ghosts. Just tired. Of course you're tired. Last night was. James trails off, his expression darkening. Marcus is a complete asshole. I can't believe he did that to you. In front of everyone. Last night. The Alpha Summit. The moment that set everything in motion. I close my eyes and I'm back there. The ballroom glittering with chandeliers, hundreds of pack members in formal wear, and me, stupid, hopeful me, believing that Marcus would finally acknowledge our bond. We were fated mates. I'd known it since the moment I turned 18 and felt the pull toward him. For 2 years, I'd waited, hoped, tried to be worthy of an alpha like Marcus Sterling. Then he'd looked at me across that crowded room with eyes like ice and said, I, Marcus Sterling, reject you, Damien Cross, as my mate. The bond had snapped like a broken violin string, painful and discordant. I'd felt it tear through my chest while everyone stared. Some pitied me. Others whispered. Victoria had smiled. In my first life, I'd spent the next 5 years trying to win him back, trying to understand what I'd done wrong, slowly destroying myself until there was nothing left to destroy. Until Victoria finished the job. Damien. James reaches across the table, gripping my hand. I know it hurts, but you're going to get through this. You're stronger than you think. I almost laugh. Strong? I was so weak before that I let Marcus's rejection define me. I abandoned my art, my dreams, everything that made me me, all for a man who looked at me like I was nothing. But I'm not that Damien anymore. Actually, James, I'm done. He blinks. Done with what? Done with Marcus Sterling. The words taste like freedom. I'm not going to waste another second on someone who publicly humiliated me. I'm going to live my life. James stares at me like I've grown a second head. In the original timeline, I'd spent this entire morning crying, begging James to help me figure out how to change Marcus's mind. The fact that I'm sitting here dry-eyed and resolute must be shocking. Okay. I support this. I definitely support this. James grins. So what's the plan? Besides getting drunk and trashing his car? I'm going to finish my art portfolio and apply to the Riverside Gallery program. The words come easily because I've had 5 years to regret not doing this the first time. I'm going to stop letting other people decide my worth. Hell yes. James raises his coffee cup. To the new Damien Cross, who doesn't need some stuck-up alpha to validate his existence. As we toast with overpriced lattes, I notice someone watching us from across the cafe. Ethan Rivera. He's sitting alone with a sketchbook, and when our eyes meet, he smiles, warm and genuine, nothing like Marcus's cold smirks. In my previous life, Ethan tried to befriend me around this time. He'd complimented my art, invited me to gallery openings, offered to introduce me to his architect friends. I'd brushed him off, too obsessed with Marcus to notice that someone actually kind and interesting wanted to know me. Not this time. I smile back and Ethan's eyes light up. He stands, gathering his things, and starts walking toward our table. My heart beats faster, but it's different from the anxious flutter I felt around Marcus. This feels like possibility. Hey, Ethan says when he reaches us, his voice soft but confident. I don't mean to interrupt, but I saw your work at the campus exhibition last month. You're incredibly talented. Thank you, I manage, and I'm struck by how his dark eyes hold genuine admiration, not the calculating assessment I'd grown used to from Marcus's circle. I'm Ethan Rivera. I'm an architect, but I dabble in art. Maybe we could grab coffee sometime and talk about... He'd love to, James interrupts, grinning like the matchmaker he never got to be in my first life. Damien's free tomorrow afternoon. Ethan's smile widens. Perfect. As he walks away after we exchange numbers, James leans forward. Please tell me you saw how that gorgeous beta was looking at you. I did. And for the first time in 5 years? Or is it 2 years? I feel something other than pain when I think about my future. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Marcus. I delete it without responding and pull out the stack of love letters I'd written to Marcus over the past 2 years. Letters I never sent in my first life but kept like pathetic treasures. One by one I tear them up. Behind me, I don't notice Marcus Sterling standing in the cafe doorway, watching me destroy the evidence of my devotion with an expression that might be regret. But I don't care anymore. This time I'm choosing myself. Tell me why you chose architecture over art. Ethan looks up from his sketchbook, surprised by my question. We're sitting in his studio apartment, all exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling windows, 3 weeks into a friendship that feels like it's been years. His sketches are scattered across the coffee table between us. Buildings that look like dreams rendered in precise lines. Who says I chose? He grins. Architecture is art, just with more math and building codes. I laugh and it feels genuine. Easy. When was the last time I laughed like this? Not in my previous life, that's for sure. Besides, Ethan continues, his expression softening, I get to create spaces where people live their lives. Fall in love. Raise families. That matters to me. His eyes meet mine. Creating things that matter. My breath catches. The way he looks at me, like I'm someone worth knowing, worth understanding, it's intoxicating in a way the mate bond never was. Damien Cross? I freeze. That voice. I'd know it anywhere, cold, commanding, with an edge that used to make me tremble. Marcus Sterling stands in Ethan's doorway, and I have no idea how he found me here. His designer suit is impeccable as always, his jaw tight, gray eyes fixed on me with an intensity that would have made my heart race 3 weeks ago. Now it just makes me tired. How did you? We need to talk. Marcus doesn't even acknowledge Ethan's presence. Alone. I'm busy, I say flatly. And I don't remember giving you this address. James told me where to find you. Traitor. Though knowing James, Marcus probably intimidated it out of him. That's what alphas like Marcus do. They take what they want and call it leadership. Well, now you found me. Congratulations. I turn back to Ethan's sketches. You can leave. I hear Marcus's sharp intake of breath. In our 2 years of knowing each other, I never spoke to him like this. I was always so careful, so desperate to please. Damien, I think there's been a misunderstanding about. No misunderstanding. I finally look at him. You rejected me publicly. You made your feelings clear. What's there to discuss? Marcus's jaw clenches. You're being childish. And you're trespassing, Ethan says quietly, standing. He's not as tall as Marcus, not as physically imposing, but there's steel in his voice. Damien asked you to leave. Marcus finally looks at Ethan, really looks at him, and something dangerous flashes in his eyes. Stay out of this, beta. This is between mates. Ex-mates, I correct. You ended that bond yourself, remember? For a moment, Marcus looks like I've slapped him. Then his expression hardens. Fine. But don't come crying to me when you realize what you're throwing away. He leaves and the apartment feels like it can breathe again. I'm sorry, I tell Ethan. That was not your fault. Ethan sits back down beside me, closer than before. Is he always like that? Always. I'm shaking slightly, adrenaline coursing through me. In my previous life, I would have chased after Marcus, apologizing for offending him. The growth feels dizzying. Ethan's hand covers mine. Are you okay? Yeah. Actually, I am. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus appears everywhere. At my favorite coffee shop. Outside my apartment building. At the art supply store. He never approaches directly, just watches. It's unnerving, this attention I would have killed for in my first life. He's stalking you, James says over dinner. This is not normal behavior. Marcus Sterling doesn't stalk, I mutter. He just strategically appears. That's literally the definition of stalking, Damien. But there's worse than Marcus's sudden interest. Victoria Sterling has started her campaign. It begins with whispers. People at the gallery program looking at me strangely. Then my scholarship advisor calls me in, expressing concerns about my mental stability. Someone leaked my medical records from after the rejection, the 2 therapy sessions I attended when the bond broke. There are rumors, my advisor says carefully, that you've been harassing Marcus Sterling. That you're unstable. My blood runs cold. That's not true. I'm sure it's all a misunderstanding. But perhaps it's best if you take a leave of absence. Until things settle down. I leave her office shaking with rage. Victoria. This is exactly what she did in my first life. isolated me, made everyone believe I was crazy, obsessed. Back then, I had no one to defend me. This time is different. My first art exhibition is smaller than I dreamed, just a local gallery, nothing fancy. But it's mine. 12 paintings chronicling transformation, dark, suffocating pieces gradually giving way to light and color. Ethan helped me hang every single one. The gallery is packed. James brought half our friend group. Even some of my professors came. And so did Victoria Sterling. She's holding court near my darkest painting, the one I created the week after Marcus's rejection. Derivative, she's saying loud enough for everyone to hear. And clearly the work of someone obsessed. I heard he's been stalking my brother for weeks. The crowd shifts uncomfortably. Some people are listening to her poison, believing it. I'm frozen, watching my second chance crumble, when Ethan steps into the center of the room. Actually, his voice cuts through the murmurs. These paintings are the work of someone brave enough to transform pain into beauty. Someone talented enough to make you feel something, which is more than most artists achieve in a lifetime. He walks toward me and the crowd parts. Victoria's face is twisted with rage. Damien Cross is brilliant, Ethan continues. And kind. And stronger than anyone gives him credit for. He stops in front of me, his eyes warm and certain. And I'm honored that he lets me be part of his life. Then Ethan Rivera kisses me. It's gentle and public and means everything. The gallery erupts in applause. James Wolfe whistles. Victoria storms out. And Marcus Sterling, whom I didn't see arrive, stands frozen in the doorway. Our eyes meet across the room. His expression is unreadable, but his hands are clenched into fists at his sides, and for just a moment, I see something that might be regret. Then Ethan's hand finds mine and I look away. I don't need to watch Marcus anymore. I'm finally living for myself. He's getting worse. James slides his phone across the table, showing me another text from Marcus. It's the 5th one this week, all sent to James since I blocked Marcus's number. Tell Damien we need to talk. The bond isn't truly broken. He belongs with me. He's delusional, I mutter, deleting the message. The bond broke the moment he rejected me. But even as I say it, doubt creeps in. Marcus has become obsessive in ways I never experienced in my first life. Back then he was coldly indifferent to my suffering. Now he's desperate, possessive. It doesn't match my memories and that terrifies me. There's something else. James hesitates. Marcus has been asking around about you. Specifically if you've been acting different. If something changed 3 months ago. My stomach drops. Different how? He thinks something supernatural happened. He's been consulting with pack elders, researching rare werewolf phenomena. James leans forward. Damien, what if he figures out you've been reborn? Before I can answer, my phone rings. Ethan. Hey, can you come to my office? There's someone here who wants to meet you. 30 minutes later, I'm standing in Ethan's architecture firm, face to face with Richard Sterling, Marcus's father and one of the most powerful pack leaders in the country. Mr. Cross. Richard's handshake is firm, his silver hair and steady gaze commanding respect. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I didn't know I had a choice, I say carefully. Richard's lips twitch. You always have a choice. That's actually what I came to discuss. He glances at Ethan. May we speak privately? Ethan looks at me and I nod. Once we're alone in the conference room, Richard sighs heavily. My son is making a fool of himself over you. That's not my problem. No, it's mine. Richard pulls out a folder, sliding it across the table. Before I show you this, I need you to understand something. Marcus rejected you because Victoria threatened to destroy our family if he didn't. I open the folder with shaking hands. Inside are documents, financial records, emails, photographs. Evidence of corporate espionage, illegal dealings, fraud. All fabricated, all supposedly implicating Richard Sterling in crimes that would destroy him. Victoria created all of this? I whisper. She's brilliant and ruthless. She wanted Marcus to marry Helena Blackwood, an alpha from the West Coast pack who would bring political alliances and money. Richard's voice is bitter. When Marcus found his fated mate in you, an Omega with no connections, Victoria saw you as a threat to her plans. So Marcus sacrificed me to protect you. He thought he was protecting everyone. You, me, our pack. Victoria convinced him that if he bonded with you, she'd leak these documents and claim you'd manipulated him into committing fraud. Richard meets my eyes. My son handled it terribly. He should have told you the truth, should have found another way. But he was young and scared, and he genuinely believed he was doing the right thing. In my first life, I never knew this. I died thinking Marcus simply didn't want me. Why are you telling me now? Because I watched my son fall apart after rejecting you. He became cold, closed off. And now that you've moved on, he's realized what he lost. Richard's expression softens. I'm not asking you to take him back. God knows you deserve better. I just thought you deserved the truth. I leave the meeting feeling hollowed out. The foundation of my first life, Marcus's cruel indifference, was built on lies. He'd loved me and rejected me anyway. Does that make it better or worse? Damien? James's panicked voice jolts me from my thoughts. He's sprinting toward my car in the parking garage. Don't get in. What? Why? Your brakes. James is gasping for air. I was walking past and saw fluid on the ground. I looked underneath and the brake lines are cut. The world tilts. The brake lines. That's how I died in my first life. A car accident caused by brake failure. I thought it was 3 years from now, but Victoria must be accelerating her timeline. We need to call the police, James says, but I'm already running. Not to safety. To the Sterling mansion. I remember now, in my first life, James discovered evidence of Victoria's tampering but confronted her alone. He disappeared for 2 days and when he came back, he claimed he'd been mistaken about everything. Victoria had threatened him into silence. Not this time. I burst through the Sterling mansion doors and there she is, Victoria standing at the top of those marble stairs, the ones that killed me. She's expecting me. In her hand is a gun. Hello, Damien. Her smile is poisonous. I wondered when you'd figure it out. You tried to kill me. Again. Her eyes narrow at that word. Again? Shit. But there's no taking it back now. You pushed me down these stairs, I say, climbing slowly toward her. 5 years from now. Or 5 years from the original now. You killed me, Victoria, and somehow I came back. She laughs, but there's hysteria in it. You're insane. Just like I've been telling everyone. The brake lines were sloppy. You would have done it cleaner in a few years, but you panic because I'm not playing my role anymore. I take another step. I was supposed to pine for Marcus until I was too broken to matter. Instead, I found someone who actually values me. You're ruining everything. Victoria's hand shakes, the gun wavering. Marcus was supposed to marry Helena. I was supposed to manage the Sterling Empire through him. You were supposed to be a footnote, a rejected Omega who faded away. Instead, I'm living. Not for long. Behind her, I hear footsteps. Marcus appears at the top of the stairs, his face pale. Victoria, put the gun down. Stay out of this, Marcus. I'm fixing your mistake. My mistake was listening to you in the first place. Marcus moves toward his sister. Damien, get back. But Ethan bursts through the front door, James behind him. Damien. Victoria spins, startled, and her finger tightens on the trigger. Everything happens at once. The gunshot, Marcus lunging at Victoria, my own body frozen on the stairs as Ethan runs toward me. Marcus crashes into Victoria as the gun fires. He takes the bullet meant for me, blood blooming across his white shirt as he falls. And I'm left standing on the stairs where I died, watching the man who rejected me bleed to save my life. The hospital waiting room smells like antiseptic and regret. Marcus survived surgery. The bullet missed anything vital and he'll make a full recovery. Victoria is in police custody, her carefully constructed lies unraveling under investigation. Richard found evidence she'd been embezzling from the family business for years, funding her blackmail schemes. Everything should feel like victory. So why do I feel hollow? You don't owe him anything, Ethan says softly, his hand warm in mine. We've been sitting here for 3 hours while Marcus was in surgery. I know he saved you, but that doesn't erase what he did. I know. But the words taste like lies. James appears with coffee, looking exhausted. The police want to talk to you again. About Victoria's confession. She admitted to everything. The brake lines, the blackmail, even pushing you down the stairs in what she called a future she prevented. He shakes his head. They think she's having a psychotic break. Let them think that. The truth, time travel, rebirth, whatever this is, would only complicate things. Marcus is awake, a nurse announces. He's asking for Damien Cross. Ethan's grip on my hand tightens. You don't have to go. I know. But I need to. Marcus looks small in the hospital bed, connected to tubes and monitors. His gray eyes find mine immediately, and there's something raw in them I've never seen before. You came. You took a bullet for me. I stay by the door, keeping distance between us. I figured I owed you a visit. I owed you so much more. Marcus tries to sit up, winces. Damien, I'm sorry. For everything. The rejection, the coldness, not standing up to Victoria sooner. I thought I was protecting you, but I only hurt you worse. Your father told me about the blackmail. Then you know why I did it. But you should also know that's not an excuse. Marcus's voice cracks. I loved you. I still love you. And I destroyed us because I was too proud to ask for help, too scared to trust that we could face Victoria together. There it is, the apology I would have died for in my first life. The confession I dreamed about during 5 years of desperate longing. And I feel nothing. Or not nothing, I feel pity. Sadness. But not love. Not anymore. Marcus, I need to tell you something. I stepped closer to the bed. When Victoria shot at me, my life didn't flash before my eyes. Want to know what I thought about? He nods, looking hopeful, like maybe I'll say I thought about him. I thought about my art exhibition next month. About the dinner Ethan and I planned for Saturday. About finishing the mural James commissioned for his cafe. I meet his eyes. I thought about my future, Marcus. And you weren't in it. His face crumbles. The mate bond. The mate bond is broken. You broke it when you rejected me. Bonds can be reformed. We're fated, Damien. That means something. It means biology wanted us together. It doesn't mean we're good for each other. I take a breath, steadying myself. In my first life, yes, there was a first life, Victoria was right about that, I spent 5 years obsessed with you. I abandoned my dreams, my identity, everything that made me me, trying to win back someone who treated me like an inconvenience. Marcus flinches. I died miserable and alone, Marcus. And when I got a second chance, I realized something. The mate bond wasn't fate bringing us together. It was a cage keeping me trapped. What are you saying? I'm saying I reject you, Marcus Sterling. The words come out steady and sure. I formally reject you as my mate. I break whatever remains of our bond. The air between us shimmers and I feel it, the last gossamer thread connecting us snapping. Marcus gasps, clutching his chest, and I know he feels it too. You can't, that's not. He's struggling to breathe. Damien, please. I love you. I'll do better. I'll be better. I believe you. And I hope you do become better. I turn toward the door. But you'll do it without me. I'm choosing someone who loved me without fate forcing him to. Someone who sees me, not a mate bond obligation. Ethan. Marcus spits the name like poison. Ethan, I confirm. Who stood up for me when you watched Victoria destroy me? Who celebrated my art while you ignored it? Who chose me every single day not because biology told him to, but because he wanted to? I open the door, then pause. Get therapy, Marcus. Make that foundation your father mentioned. Become the alpha you were supposed to be. Just do it without me. Outside, Ethan is waiting, his expression anxious. When he sees my face, he stands. I broke the bond, I tell him. Completely. Marcus and I are done. Ethan's smile is like sunrise. How do you feel? Free. 1 year later. The art gallery is packed for my solo exhibition. Rebirth, a collection chronicling transformation, loss, and choosing yourself. Critics are calling it hauntingly vulnerable and a masterpiece of emotional evolution. Ethan's hand finds mine as we stand before the centerpiece. A massive canvas showing a figure stepping away from a shadow toward light. I'm so proud of you, he whispers. Couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. He kisses my temple. But I'm glad you didn't have to. Across the room I spot Marcus. He came despite everything. He's different now, softer somehow, talking earnestly with James about the Omega Advocacy Foundation he started. He catches my eye, nods once, and I nod back. No hard feelings. Just two people who were wrong for each other finally accepting it. James approaches, grinning. So, fun news? That painting just sold for $50,000. And, he pauses dramatically, the buyer wants to commission a mural for the new Omega Community Center Marcus's foundation is building. I laugh, the sound echoing through the gallery. In my first life, I died broken and forgotten. In this life, I'm standing in a room full of people who love me, holding hands with a man who chose me, creating art that matters. You know what the wildest part is? I tell Ethan as we leave the gallery that night, walking into our future. When I came back, I thought I was here to change Marcus's mind. To make him love me. And? Turns out I came back to change my own mind. To realize I never needed his love to be complete. I squeeze Ethan's hand. I just needed mine. Above us, the stars shine bright and infinite. Somewhere in the multiverse, there's a version of me who never got a second chance, who died on those marble stairs believing he wasn't enough. But this version, this Damien Cross, knows better. I was always enough. I just had to choose myself to see it.